What's up YouTube? Kristo here, and I've got another face-to-face video for you. I had a lot of people in my unboxing a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, saying it was good to see me back on camera. So I figured I'd make a bit of an attempt to try to get as many in as I could, face-to-face videos, I mean. So this one I'm going to do here is a top 10 list, but I don't need a monitor and I don't need to read from anything, so basically I can just stick a piece of paper against the wall and quickly rattle off my, quickly, I say quickly, but it's not going to be, is it? And rattle off my fragrance picks for my list. So what is my list is actually what I'm really excited to do because I've never done anything like this. This is 10 fragrances I'm dying to try. Basically, I took a huge list, a huge list of fragrances, everything from cheapies, designers, to really expensive niche indie, kind of across the board, exclusives and fragrances that are only available in certain parts of the world and all of that. And I took the 10 that I'm basically a combination of the most excited to try and been interested in trying them for the longest amount of time. I should mention quickly that these are all fragrances that are either in production or are limited in release. Some of them are exclusive in that they're only available in certain areas or that they are only available for a limited time or whatnot. But as best as I can tell, all of these are in production now. Now there are a few little asterisks here and there, but I'll mention them when they come up. So basically, to pick my top 10 list, I took 10 fragrances that I have done my own research, looking on databases, Fragrantica base notes, now smell this, looking at YouTube reviews, people talking about them on Facebook. Facebook is a great place to see what's trending in the community and whatnot. Basically put together this list. I have not tried any of these, and the list was huge. Actually, just a month ago or so, I was in Singapore to do some visa business, and I got to try a lot of things that I got to cross off my list. I tried a lot, basically almost every in-production Tom Ford fragrance. I got to try all of the Dior Privé, and I've tried several of the discontinued ones already before that. I got to try loads of Amouages, Miller Harris, Harris Miller, Miller Harris, I can never remember which way it goes. But yeah, I got to try loads and loads of things, and quite a few fragrances I got to scratch off my list of the fragrances I'm dying to try. So here it is, my 10 fragrances I'm dying to try. Now obviously I'm going to go from 10 to number 1, which is like the one that I'm just absolutely dying to try the most. So here we go. Number 10, this one very well known in the fragrance community. It's probably one of the most consistently hyped up fragrances for as long as it's been talked about. It's never really gotten much of a bashing, so I'm really dying to try it. It is 24 Gold from Scent Story, the fragrance based on the TV show. And when it first started getting talked about, there were a few reasons I was a bit skeptical about it. First and foremost is because it's a fragrance based on a TV show, which doesn't sound like a winning combination in my opinion, but a lot of people completely were just blown away by it, and still are. There's very few people who will really flat out say anything negative about this. The reason I'm putting it number 10 though is because some of the things I've heard compared to are not really my cup of tea. I've heard it's very sweet and has very prominent vanilla note. I don't mind vanilla, but vanilla dominated fragrances very rarely make it into my all-time list. So I'm willing to be wrong. I would love to be wrong and to be, totally in love with this fragrance, but that's why I'm kind of keeping it in 10th place, because more than likely it's probably not going to be, one of my all-time favorite fragrances. Number 10 is Byredo's M Mink. That's what I usually refer to it. I'm not sure if it's Mink or M Mink or whatever, but I usually call it M Mink. Wow, the notes on this sound incredible. According to Fragrantica, the most dominant notes are incense, aldehydes, patchouli, and honey. Basically 3 of my all-time favorite notes, and honey, I'm really getting interested in. Honey can be very strange, very interesting, unique. People comparing it to Rien on Fragrantica, and that is one of my all-time favorites, so I really have to try it. I've heard some people, though, compare it to things like Secretions Magnifique. Could be, I don't know. I've never tried it. I'm really interested to. Even people I know who really like M Mink, they do say it's weird and it's strange and it's hard to pull off, but sounds like a good challenge to me, though, because that's the kind of thing I'm into. So that's number 9. Number 8, very recent fragrance. Getting some attention. I don't know if I can say it's really hyped, but definitely getting a lot of talk. The new Christian Dior Fahrenheit Parfum. It's only been out for a few months, I believe. It's basically the classic Dior Fahrenheit fragrance in a parfum concentration. And, why wouldn't I love it? The original Dior Fahrenheit is one of my all-time favorite fragrances. It's just an absolute masterpiece of designer perfumery, in my opinion. I haven't heard it's too different. I've heard it's got kind of a boozy vanilla note in it. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't tried it, but really want to. I dare say I'll end up just picking up a bottle sooner or later, but for now, I am dying to try it. Number 7. This house has kind of fallen from grace in my eyes recently. Not that they've done anything specifically, but just I'm consistently let down by them again and again and again. Number 7 is Vallabh City exclusive for Moscow, Benzoin. It is obviously based on the benzoin note. And I know a few people that have tried this. Vallabh just did their little gimmick where they release their city exclusive. They're only available in these cities, except once a year when we sell them everywhere on Earth. I don't know, it just irritates me. But yeah, I know a few people who have tried it, who have full bottles, and mostly they're saying really good things about it. Benzoin is a really interesting note. It's a very sweet resinous note, because that's what it is. It's a sweet resin. And there's a lot of fragrances that have benzo in them that I really enjoy. So, fingers crossed, benzoin could be benzoin could be a holy grail for benzoin notes, but we'll see. Hopefully I'll be able to get my hands on a sample. Definitely not going to commit to a full bottle of this, especially at what Vallabh are asking now for city exclusive prices. They up their prices, I think, every year. It's just getting kind of out of control in my opinion, but save that for another video, I suppose. Number 6. What would one of my top 10 lists be? Talking about niche, talking about fragrances that I have to try, that I'm dying to try without talking about Comme des Garçons. It's actually one of the only fragrances from Comme des Garçons, except a couple of the newer ones, Wonder Oud and the Girl fragrance, which I still have not tried, that I haven't tried from Comme des Garçons. Number 6 is Comme des Garçons 2011, the EDP that comes in like the melted light bulb. It's just got these incredible sounding notes, like sellotape and industrial strength glue. Again, I know people who have tried it, and they even said to me that it wasn't my thing, but I really think you would like it because people I talk to, especially talk to about Comme des Garçons with, they know how much I love them, and they know how much I love challenging, strange fragrances, and people consistently keep telling me that, yeah, you've got to try it. I think you'd really like it. There is a Comme des Garçons boutique in Jakarta, but strangely enough, every time they get the 2011 in, they're broken. Apparently the glass on the melted, dilapidated light bulb is very, very, very thin, so the boutique here have just stopped ordering it in. I think they said they ordered 3 bottles twice, and both times they were broken. All the bottles were completely broken, so they've just stopped ordering because it's, they probably have to pay for them anyways, or they're just, said we're not going to send them to you anymore if they keep shattering. But yeah, dying to try. It's not even expensive. It's like $100 for 100 mil or $120 for 100 mil. Definitely get my hands on it. Dare I say, I'll just grab a full bottle eventually when I can. Number 5, this one, I just mentioned before, I got to try basically every in-production Tom Ford fragrance while I was in Singapore, and this is the only one I have not tried yet. And I have heard so many people speak very, very highly of it. It is Tom Ford's Sahara Noir. A lot of guys and girls that I really trust in the fragrance community, especially on Facebook, have just raved and raved and raved about this basically since it was released, saying that it is on par with or better quality than many of the private blends. When I got to try them recently in Singapore, I had to say I was really let down by a lot of them. Not just the new ones that he's just like cranking out seemingly non-stop, but even a lot of the ones that I've heard a lot of people speak really highly of, I just wasn't really blown away by them. And I was so gutted that they didn't have Sahara Noir, because that was like the one thing I knew they had, the Tom Ford counter in Singapore, and I was like so excited to try Sahara Noir. Lo and behold, they didn't have it. So number 5 is Tom Ford's Sahara Noir. Number 4, again, what would a list be from me talking about niche and hard to find fragrances without talking about Serge Lutens? Admittedly, one of my favorite fragrance houses ever. They're just doing so many amazing things. I actually had more Serge Lutens fragrances on my list than anything else. And I have tried a good number of fragrances from this house. When I was in Singapore, I got to try Iris Silver Mist, La Fille de Berlin, and Furrow Noir, which were 3 that were very high on my to-try list. And you know what? All 3 of them, I loved them. Absolutely loved all 3 of them. So they're definitely moved over to my to-buy list now. Other ones that I can mention, Saracens, just, not even looking at the notes, I just love the deep, dark purple juice in the bell jar. It looks beautiful. Un Voix Noir. The name of it, just the way you say it, and just the spelling of it, I love it. It's so beautiful. The Black Voice, or A Black Voice, it's just such a beautiful name. Gotta try it. Vetiver Oriental, like the notes in there just sound amazing. L'Incineraire, the new super prestigious $500 for 50 ml Serge Lutens. Santal de Mysore, Tuberose Criminel. There's just so many. I didn't want to do a list with like 8 Serge Lutens, so I picked one. And it's actually maybe a bit of a surprise. Cure Mauresque, Mauresque, there we go. I think that's it. Basically, Marrakech Leather. I've heard this is still in production. It's still part of the regular export Serge Lutens line, but it's really, really hard to find. I can't find it for sale anywhere other than the Serge Lutens site and a few like really high-end niche boutiques in Europe, like online niche boutiques in Europe. And I've heard a few people say like it is really beautiful. It's a really soft but very kind of in-your-face leather. Soft as in like it's not just like this atomic explosion of like super rough smelling leather or anything. It is a full-on leather, but it's very soft and very nicely done. As I've heard, I can't confirm that because I haven't tried it, but I'm kind of in the process of finding the perfect leather fragrance, and again, I've been let down a lot. A lot of things that I've heard or been told or thought were going to be amazing leather fragrances, and just wasn't really into them. So for now, this is kind of like what I'm eyeing as potentially my holy grail of leathers. Okay, now before I get into the top three, two that I want to mention, and these two I'm going to kind of put the asterisks next to because it's just kind of fuzzy about whether they're actually in production or not. And I'm not putting one above the other. I'm putting them both here because I think they probably would be in my top three if I didn't kind of, put them aside and say, okay, these might not be in production. Creed Windsor and Towers Une Rose de Kandahar. Are going to be a lot of rose fragrances from here on out. Creed Windsor, supposedly a vaulted Creed fragrance that happens to leak out of the vault every once in a while and sell for insane prices. I've been really interested in this for such a long time and just have not been able to get my hands on a sample. People are selling samples for like $10, $20, $30 for like 1 mil, 0.7 mil. It's just ridiculous. I really want to try it, and a good friend of mine on Facebook, he has a lot of it, and he says it's really beautiful, and it is one of his all-time favorites. So I really, really need to try that. Whether it is in production or it isn't, I need to try it. And Towers Une Rose de Kandahar, I believe it was a limited edition that has just been re-released for another limited run, from what I understand. Andy Tower, I follow him on Facebook, and he's mentioned it, or people have mentioned it, and he's commented on it. But supposedly it is going to be in production, but I don't think it's going to be a permanent staple from the Tower House. I gotta try it though. Okay, top three here. This one is kind of a splinter house from a very, very prestigious high-end, super high-end niche fragrance house. This is Spiro's Wardacina, and it is basically Spiro's rose fragrance, and I am hugely into rose at the moment, so I figure, if it is going to be even slightly just a fraction of the quality of Xerjoff fragrances, and it's got a very prominent rose note, I've got to try it, and I'm probably going to love it. Xerjoff, people probably saying like, where are they all in your list? And I'm not really a big fan of them. They don't really do what I'm looking for. I think their fragrances are a little bit too formal. Maybe with the exception of the Oud Stars, but that's just really not my thing. I don't think Xerjoff really do what I'm looking for in perfumery, really, to be honest. So not many of them are on my list. There's a couple that I would really like to try out, but there's definitely more from Spiro, I think, that I would more than likely be into than from the actual Xerjoff line. Number two, this is basically an unheard of fragrance house up until very recently, and they kind of hit it big. They're starting to be distributed in more and more places, especially in the United States now. Number two is April Aromatics' Calling All Angels, and April Aromatics is like a high-end, all-natural fragrance house, and this is their incense release, and I've heard so many people say just how amazingly beautiful it is, and I really love my incense at the moment. Prices are incredible on this. It's up there. It's definitely up there. I'm not going to quote because I think it differs depending where you buy it and what sites and what region you're in, but it's a lot, for an all natural exclusive indie niche house. You're going to be paying a pretty penny for it, but the presentation on these bottles is beautiful, really tasteful as well. I think the packaging is stunning. It looks beautiful. The notes just sound amazing. It's pretty much, I guarantee I'm going to like it. I just haven't tried it yet. Of course, there is also, that minute chance I won't, but I think I will. Number one Number one, what could it be? Actually, number one is actually a fairly new release. It hasn't really been on the market that long, much less than a year, but I'm absolutely dying to try it. And it's actually part of what inspired me to make this list. Number one is Rien Intense Incense from Atelier Libre d'Orange. Now let me grab this here. This is one of my all-time favorite fragrances, Rien from Atelier Libre d'Orange. The first time I tried this, I was just completely and utterly blown away. And every time I wear it, every time I sniff it now, I am just like, wow, that's just amazing. It takes me to a whole other place. So when I knew they were going to make, or when I found out they were going to make an intense version called Incense, I was like, I have to try it. I have to have a bottle, or several bottles of it. They're calling it a limited edition. I don't know how limited it will be, if it's going to be limited to a few thousand bottles, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of bottles. I really don't know. There are limited edition Aldos that have been kicking around for years and years and years and years, but there is a lot of interest in this one, so I don't know if I'll be able to get my hands on a full bottle. I really, really hope I can. My first thoughts when I heard out they were making Rien Intense were, how can you make one of the most intense fragrances I've ever smelled even more intense? I just can't even fathom what it smells like. I'm just dying. Just thinking of it gets me excited. I don't really know if it's been tinkered with or if it's the same thing, but it's been amped up. I'm really hoping it's going to kind of do something different and, add some notes, take some out, change some around. I really, really hope it is. Dying to try it so badly. So there's my top 10 fragrances I'm dying to try. What do you think of my list? Are any of mine on your top 10 dying to try? What are some that you're dying to try? Maybe you've recently got to try some that you were dying to try for ages and were a bit let down. Let us know. Leave some comments down below. Take care, and hopefully see you again soon.